That's rude.
Hello, everybody on the internet. My name is Kathy. I'm a junior. I go to Adams State University. I'm a theater major. And here with me, my co host is Hannah.
Hi, everybody. It's really exciting to be working on this project with Kathy. We know each other from the theater department because I am also a major and I am currently a senior.
So, we just kind of wanted to do these podcasts as a way for everybody to get to know us and people at Adams State. We'll be starting probably with people from the theater, because of course that's where I want to start, and I think that's where Hannah wants to start, just because everybody doesn't get to know us as people. They just get to see us on our shows and everything, so it's just a good way to bring everybody together in these times.
Yeah, absolutely. And we really want to create a sense of community amongst not only our department, but along with our Adams State campus and anybody else who might need a little sense of community during this really scary time that we're all experiencing together but apart.
Exactly. I think that especially now, a lot of people are kind of confused as to what's going on, and we're getting separated from people that we usually get to see and talk to. So I think a sense of community is very important, and it'll give us a great chance to let everyone get to know us and get to know other people from Adams State.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of such a trying time, I guess one of the best questions to ask ourselves is what is one of the biggest struggles that we're facing on a daily, being college students, separated from our peers, separated from our very hands-on artistic department, how it is to be home again and not in school. How are you doing with that, Kathy? What's your experience been like so far?
Well, I think the first thing that happened to me was I found out that I don't like to be told what to do. So I'm an introvert, and I'm usually really okay with being home. But now that they told me I had to be home, it was like I really want to go out, even though I shouldn't, and I didn't, because my mom's and my dad's definitely, they're at risk more so than other people. So I think it's just kind of trying to take care of them. But as far as like now, I'm dealing with a lot of things that I didn't really tell people about, just mostly my professors, is that I'm now kind of giving full care to my mom and helping out my dad because she's not in the best of health. So I think that's been the hardest part, is like a lot of things are changing within my world that I can't do anything about, especially now that I can't like go out and take her to doctors and stuff. So but it's just not something that I talk to most theater people, but I think it's something that they should know, especially if I'm, not in class or anything. But I think being separated from things that I need for my care for my mom and everything has been the hardest part for me personally, is just not being able to have those things that we used to have, which is just, I guess, getting used to that. But same question to you, I guess, is what has been like the hardest part about all of this, and what's your experience with everything that's going on?
Yeah, I think the hardest part for me would definitely be the change of environment that I've experienced. I am currently at home with my parents and my family right now instead of at my own apartment. And it's shifted between being more independent, maybe seeing one or two people a day, sharing a space with maybe one other person, to being in a house with 6 bodies all together. So it's really finding that balance again and finding how we all jive together. I find that I really struggle with online learning. that it's harder for me when things aren't tangible or in person, when it's not paper between my fingers and it's just on a screen. It's harder for me to remember and to grasp that kind of stuff. So, yeah, and I'm sure you and I are definitely not alone in our struggles. And I know everybody's feeling this sense of um, the unknown or a sense of grief for things we may not get to experience anymore.
Yeah, I think that it's so just a story for everyone out there, because I really want to call our podcast Pizza Wednesdays. So before this all started, is an improv troupe at Adams State University Theater. There's a really cool trip that they take on every 2 years, if they get the opportunity, and they go to Chicago. And Hannah and I and our friends who are also on the improv troupe, Ryan and Tessa, we got the news during, or I guess it was like right before a show, right?
I think
That we had a meeting and we had to talk about us not having the trip.
Yeah, I think it might have actually been right after, and then we had rehearsals for the rest of the week before we went on what was originally our spring break, something to that extent.
Yeah,
Either right before or right after a show.
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely during class that we had gotten the news. But I think it might have been like opening night, or I feel like it was during the show week, but I'm not actually sure. It could have just been like
something
I
during
don't know.
our Twilight Zone production.
Well, so we got the news that we weren't going to go to Chicago, obviously because of everything that was going on. And we all went to this incredible place. I had heard about it and I didn't know if I wanted to try it, but it was so good. It was my brother's place. They sell pizza.
Like New York style, huge slices for $3 a slice. Super greasy and gooey and delicious and probably not the best for you.
Yeah, we were all just definitely sad and just needed to vent about everything that was going on, even though we understood, it had to be that way. I think it was just sort of like a grieving process almost with each other. And pizza and cannolis, by the way, which are those cannolis over there are really good.
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
It was a chance for us, even though we don't normally hang out on a daily basis aside from class and improv troupe practice, it was a chance for our community to come together and have a slice of pizza and really just experience a loss of an experience of an opportunity together because of circumstances that we were all going to face forthcoming. At the time, we weren't sure how extensive it was going to be, but it gave us each a sense of comfort and a sense of hope.
Yeah, I am definitely with that. And by the way, I just realized it was Wednesday because we called it Pizza Wednesday because it was a Wednesday. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so it just happened to have been a Wednesday. It could have been a Tuesday. We probably would have called it Pizza Tuesdays. But it was just sort of a chance for us to come together and vent and talk about whatever, which was really nice, right before a show while we're all kind of sad and upset. I think this is kind of a good opportunity for our podcast. But I mean, it doesn't have to be called Pizza Wednesdays, but I definitely think that this is what our podcast is about, is just us getting to know each other and other people and talking about whatever, if they need a vent or if we need a vent or whatever. But that's why I'd like to call it Pizza Wednesdays, in case anyone wants to know. And in case we call it Pizza Wednesdays, you know why.
Yeah, absolutely. And I 100% agree. And I think we'll have a conversation after this solidifying that, yes, we are going to call this podcast Pizza Wednesdays. And it's just a callback to an experience that we had together that brought us comfort in an attempt to bring a sense of community and comfort from our department, from our campus, from our lives.
Exactly. Yes, I definitely agree. I have so many questions to ask that are definitely not theater related, just because, I mean, as great as it is, most of our questions, at least for me, are definitely like why I became a theater major, which is maybe something I'll share in the future. But I think that like there's a lot more to us than why we decided to do theater and things related to theater. I think there's just more to everybody than that.
I agree. A lot of times people are labeled based on their major or their job. It's like, oh, you're a theater person, or oh, you're a football player, oh, you're a nursing major. It kind of gives you a personality without allowing your true side to come in. We aren't theater majors. That's not who we are. It's a part of who we are in a grand scheme of things. And I think exploring who people are beyond their labels is going to be an important topic we cover within our podcast for sure.
Yeah, I definitely, I don't know about other people or if anybody else relates to me out there, but I like to know the weird little things about people rather than, well, and the big things are good, right? Like it's good to get to know people with the major things that people typically talk about, but like I want to know what your favorite candy is and why you chose that. You know what I mean? So just like little things I think are very interesting, and they tell a lot about a person, you know?
Absolutely. And I think even for an example, things like, Kathy, would you identify more as a sunny day or are you a rainy day person?
That's a really good example and a really good question. I think I'm more of a rainy day. I think that kind of goes to like sort of a glass half full, glass half empty kind of question almost to me. I'm definitely more pessimistic and more of a like, I like dark things. Most of my clothes are black. So I think I'm more of like that kind of, I guess, rainy day person. But that I feel like that would tell a lot about a person. What about you, Hannah?
I am definitely, don't get me wrong, I love a good sunny day. I love going out, getting some vitamin D, feeling the warmth on my skin. But I am definitely a rainy day person. I find comfort in water. I think maybe because I'm a Pisces, who knows, but when it's raining and the smell that rain has and the sound of the rain and even the thunder, the lightning, how just versatile a rainstorm can be and how big or small it can be, and just how beautiful and aesthetic it is. I love a rainy day, and I think if we're looking at it personality wise, I feel I'm more of a rainy day person. It translates to me as almost if a sunny day is an extrovert and a rainy day is an introvert. I definitely relate more to that introverted side.
Yeah, I honestly, wouldn't have guessed that. I feel like I would have thought you would have said sunny day, so that's a little bit of shock to me. But there's just so many possibilities for a rainy day too. Like, I think even just watching movies and reading is really nice, but there's a lot of things you can do even if you want to go outside in the rain. They might not. I guess it depends on how much rain's coming down, huh? But
And I guess we're kind of all
It's nice.
experiencing this sense of a rainy day right now, because on a rainy day you usually don't go outside. And in quarantine, you shouldn't really be going
Mhm.
outside of your house. Of course, go on walks and of course enjoy the sunshine, but it's a sense of having to find things inside to do that rainy days are very keen on bringing out of people.
Yeah. I think if we're being honest too, first of all, sunny days, very hot. I don't do well in the heat. So I think that a lot of people, even if we were allowed to go outside, when this is all over, I guarantee a lot of people are still going to be bored and they're still going to not want to go outside because it'll be too hot. And, you know, I guess there's nothing wrong.
Absolutely. And maybe it's just us because I sunburn really easy. I'm not super keen on being hot. So maybe we'll be the ones that are still inside when this all comes to a gradual ending.
I
Um,
I personally like, I mean, I'm definitely an introvert, so I like to be at home where I feel comfort and everything. But
yeah.
I mean, I definitely don't sunburn easy. I get a nice tan. I get a nice golden tan, but it's just too hot. I live in Colorado for a reason. I love the cold.
I don't know. Like I'm more of an extroverted introvert. I'm very good with talking with people and being very personable, but it's not my go-to. I don't really enjoy parties or bars or big groups of people, and I'm glad that other people find joy and comfort in them, but it's more of an anxiety-ridden situation when I'm in the middle of them instead of fun.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I tend to avoid those, but I think definitely when summer comes and um, hopefully if things settle, I think I'll be more appreciative of the time I get to spend with people in person. I think that's something that this has taught me is that I do miss seeing people around campus and just having bodies around me, even if we're not necessarily talking about anything or hanging out or communicating, just the presence of other people.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think I definitely, so I identify as like an introvert, but I think that now being a theater major, since I, transferred majors and everything, I think that I'm starting to become more extroverted than I used to be. So I definitely miss people in the theater and I miss just being around people. A presence of somebody is definitely a help other than, just your family. So I think it'll be interesting seeing how people are gonna, if they're just gonna go back to everything that they were doing or if they're gonna realize that, spending time with people that you care about is important, or I guess seeing how it's all gonna play out is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, definitely very anxious to see what becomes of the world after our doors open again.
Yeah, I don't think things are going to be the same. I know some people think they might, but I think things are definitely changed or changing.
Right. And I definitely, people who say, I just want things to go back to normal, I don't think there is a sense of normal after
Hmm.
this. I don't think there can be.
Yeah. Well, and that's even just another question is like, what really is normal? I mean, is everything that everyone was doing actually normal? Or I feel like people in general are weird. So
Yeah.
I guess
I
it's
guess
up
so.
to everyone's interpretation.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you've seen this on social media lately or the news, but people who are kind of going out and protesting this uh, quarantine stay at home orders, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like we're they want to go back to the sense of normality, and it's like one, we can't, and two, you being in the street is not helping us get back to anything.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, I mean, I'm on the side of like, I'm definitely not with those people. And it might just be because I've seen too many memes roasting all those people who are protesting and being stupid. But I definitely think that they're just getting roasted really hard. And I think that they just don't realize the consequences of their actions. And I think that's just because they probably don't have anybody in their lives who I guess they think are susceptible to anything that's going on. They think that, like, you know, this could never happen to them or their family. So they just don't, they're not concerned about other people's well-being, which I think is probably the most important message that I can send to everybody, you know, on this podcast, if they don't listen to anything else, is that, like, you have to care about other people other than people in your own world.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
right. And it's like, it's not about us as individuals anymore. It's about us as the human race taking care of each other in a sense.
yeah, I think the most important thing is to be, like, kind to people and realize that, like, they're going through stuff too. Everybody is. So being courteous, I guess, is the word I'm looking for, of other people.
Yeah.
I do have one question before we end, that I had this question from the beginning when I was giving examples, was I really actually do want to know what your favorite candy is.
Oh,
And then we can for sure.
I would say my favorite candy would have to be, what's my go-to? It depends. I really like sour things, but I really like any candy. I would say something sour, like sour gummy bears or those Shocker sweet tarts. My mouth is hurting just talking about them. But I love this.
That's great. Yeah, I'm definitely more of, like, I love chocolate and peanut butter, so Reese's are my favorite.
Ooh,
But I hate being asked what my favorite candy bar is, because I say Reese's, because it comes in, like, a bar shape, you know what I mean? But they're circles, they're definitely not a bar. So it's, like, a weird thing, but like, I think that's my favorite, is definitely chocolate and peanut butter is my go-to.
I'm a big fan of chocolate and peanut butter. Um, yes, if you're listening, please let us know if you are a sunny or rainy day person and what your favorite candy is.
Yeah, I would love to know all that. I think that this is a good place to stop for first podcast. It was great being able to figure this out, and I hope that we do more podcasts, and we'll definitely introduce somebody new. We don't know who yet, but there will be a theater person guest on here next time.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Hannah. We'll see you guys later. You'll hear us later. Bye.
Bye.